It's the people you thought you knew.
She is a sex star who defined her particular era.
Like you've never seen them before. The beauty.
She was magnificent looking.
The controversies.
He was 46. Bo Derek was 16.
The braids.
Thousands of women went out to get cornrows.
Bo Derek, next on Biography.
Life has always seemed to come easily to Bo Derek. But all that changed in 1998 when her husband and mentor of 25 years, director John Derek, died suddenly. For the first time in her life, she was alone. Bo retreated to her ranch and her horses, the other greatest love of her life. Bo Derek was born Mary Kathleen Collins on November 20th, 1956. She grew up the oldest of 4 children in the Los Angeles suburb of Torrance, California, a nondescript concrete jungle of baby boomer dream houses.
All the houses had kids, and all the kids played with all the kids, and it was like little rascals going up and down the street. And, you know, there were always mothers and fathers and everybody around.
Bo's father, Paul, was a Korean War veteran and an advertising executive for a sports company. Her mother, Norma, a former dance teacher, was a housewife. Although the Collinses lived a comfortable middle-class existence, their life was anything but conventional.
Paul and I had a great time for about a year, and then we decided that we weren't having that much fun anymore, so we got a divorce.
My father's priority beyond anything else was fun. My mom was good. She was good for a good time and would go along, but there were practical things that had to be tended to that my father really had no patience for.
Norma, though, couldn't resist Paul's charms, and they eventually reunited. Bo's parents were together for almost 20 years, but never remarried.
Even when I got pregnant with Bo, it kind of crossed our mind, but it was, at that point, we had already been together so long that, you know, for 3 or 4 years, that it just didn't seem necessary. Yeah, everybody thought we were anyway, so why, you know.
While the Collins family settled into their new home, Bo and her 2 sisters and brother soon dominated the neighborhood, riding their bikes and causing quite a ruckus. Bo was shy as a child, but a real tomboy. She stood out from her friends with her stunning looks and strong personality.
She was always a very pretty girl. She wasn't precocious. She was always very self-determined. She always had the kids behind her because she knew what she wanted to do.
I was bossy, but worse than that, I was manipulative. I could talk them into almost anything. I could convince them for taking the blame and getting in trouble and taking the punishment for me. I was just shameless.
And fearless. One day when she was riding a friend's pony, Bo got a little cocky and kicked the horse harder than usual.
And he took off running, and he was coming straight forward. He went over a berm where there were some railroad tracks onto Normandy Boulevard, which is 4-lane boulevard, in about 4:30 in the afternoon, high traffic. And all I saw were all the cars. She was just gone. And it's a 2-lane, I mean 4-lane actually, road with, you know, train tracks and cars going everywhere. I fainted and ended up under the bumper of the car with the wheel right here on my face. And it was strange because my instinct was just to get up, see if I'm okay, and I was all right. My brother and my sisters are screaming and crying and wailing. They thought I was dead.
Fortunately, Bo was okay, and the accident didn't stop her from falling in love with horses. But she was not so fond of school. She was an average student who hated studying. Bo preferred to spend her days at the beach.
If she got dropped off to school, I could drive to go get her and then bring her back to school before her mom picked her up. We'd go to the beach and she taught me how to sail, and we body surfed a lot.
I skipped school for a whole month and finally got caught. My mother was furious.
If Bo wasn't interested in academics, she was fascinated with Hollywood. In 1963, Bo's father supplied motorcycles on the set of Anne Margaret's film Bye Bye Birdie and taught the actress how to ride. Bo's parents soon became friends with Anne Margaret and were spending weekends with the actress. Bo was starstruck.
Well, Anne Margaret was just the most beautiful, glamorous, fantastic, with that soft, husky voice. She was just everything that I thought was special and magical.
What I remember about Kathy, Kathy, she was really quiet when she didn't know people. Oh, she was magnificent looking, but she never knew it, which is so wonderful.
We would just go up to Aunt Margaret's house, and it was all pink marble and pink carpet and fancy clothes and makeup and wigs, and Aunt Margaret would do makeovers for us, which, you know, at 9 and 10 years old was just fantastic.
Beau's time with Aunt Margaret began to have an effect on her. She blossomed from a gawky tomboy into an athletic beauty. At 13, she began modeling and eventually won the Miss Teen California beauty pageant. It was around this time that things turned bad at home. Beau's father was traveling a lot for work, and the family rarely saw him. Then one night when Beau was 15, he came home and announced that he was leaving. Her father had fallen in love with another woman. Her mother was devastated, and now Beau had to grow up fast.
She took charge. She took, charge. She was the one that told the children. She was the other kids. She was the one that kept everybody quiet and leave mother alone, don't bother, and took control of things. And I am still very appreciative for the things that she did then.
I was aware that my mother was very unhappy in the marriage. I didn't know the details, but I saw how unhappy she was. And when my father left, something in me sensed that it would be all right and that she would be happier, even though she was miserable.
To get back on her feet, Beau's mother took a job as Aunt Margaret's assistant. Soon Beau was traveling with her mother to Las Vegas, where the actress often performed. One night, an agent friend of Aunt Margaret's approached Beau backstage.
He was just bowled over by her and wanted to sign her that night. You got to be in pictures. You got to be in pictures.
So sure, why not? If he thinks I should do it, I didn't think I should, but he thought I should, and he knows more than I do, so sure.
Beau had never thought about acting. Growing up, she'd wanted to be an oceanographer. Now, Beau enrolled in acting classes, and within a few months, her agent took her to meet a famous director just casting a new picture. His name was John Derek. Beau had no idea who he was, but her mother did.
Whoa, he's a hunk. And, I can remember him, being very enthralled with him as a teenager.
John Derek was a former actor who starred in I'll Be Seeing You with Shirley Temple and 1949's Knock on Any Door with Humphrey Bogart, in which John played a young hoodlum. John's good looks turned him into a matinee screen idol.
I swear it by my mother. May she drop dead. May I drop dead if the cops ain't framed me. Look up Butch and Sunshine. Ask him. I was with him the whole time.
I think he suffered to some degree with the same kind of syndrome that is connected to, a very attractive woman, not taken too seriously in other kinds of areas. He had other things on his mind. He wanted to write. He wanted to be a photographer. He wanted to direct.
In the 1960s, John went on to direct a few B movies, but he was less famous for directing than for marrying beautiful women. He had been married to the Swiss actress Ursula Andress and was now married to Linda Evans.
And I think John the photographer and John the director had an eye for angles on the face. And I think he saw in these faces something that he could create and make even more beautiful than what they were. And he did.
When Beau first met John, she was 16 and he was 46. Beau found him handsome but distant.
He was direct. He was not unkind at all, just got down to business. Told me that I was completely wrong for the part.
The part was to play a young Greek girl, and it didn't take much to convince him she was right for the role. John felt Beau's blonde hair was a problem. She promised to dye it brown, and that was it. She got the part.
The next day they were going to go to Greece. And I remember Kathy was real timid. And I said, you guys, you have a great time. And I gave them some money, some cash, so that they, I said, go and buy yourself really something great over there.
Bo had walked into her first job in Hollywood. Now she had to act.
Coming up, Bo's mother disapproves of her new boyfriend.
To have her get involved with a married man, the turmoil was just volcanic.
We are not going to rest until we get him.
Fingerprinting.
It was like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Ballistics.
Find that firearm and have the murder weapon.
The testimony no one ever heard.
We caught him in a major lie.
It was the spark.
Bingo, this is the guy.
That lit the way.
It was shockingly clear.
After all these years.
This was cold-blooded murder.
From the first forensic series, On the Scene. The original. Cold Case Files. Tomorrow at 8 on A&E.
Mom, Dad, welcome to our new home. Oh, Bill's afraid of termites, so we had the entire home made of concrete.
Oh, so modern.
Comfortable.
Here's a better idea. Call Terminex for a lifetime protection plan that covers repairs on any new termite damage. Don't you want protection this good? 1-800-TERMINEX. No bugs, no hassles.
For a mattress. Good for the back.
You work on it.
You think on it.
Play on it.
It was kind of like this dream I'd always
had. It's comforting. You entertain on it.
You use it. You spend your life on it. Shouldn't it be the furniture you've always wanted?
And now it's easy with the Simple Finance Plan, only at Ethan Allen.
Soulmates. Buddies. Your better half. You just aren't you without them. Like coffee's not coffee without Coffee Mate. So smooth, so velvety, so much more than just coffee. Coffee made from Nestle. Coffee's perfect made.
Ladies and gentlemen, the technology offensive has begun. Observe. Laser-guided adaptive cruise control, a rear-view camera, suspension that lowers at speed, headlights that turn to illuminate your path on curves.
Enough. So, what do we do now?
Introducing the entirely new Lexus RX 330. Putting the world on notice again.
What do we do now?
Smart is having an adoption center that saved over 1 million pets. Having food for every stage of life. And having dog training taught by accredited instructors. Everywhere you turn in PetSmart, you'll find smart solutions. From better services to a superior selection. For a healthier, happier pet. PetSmart.
Christopher, come on, let's go, sweetie.
In neighborhoods across the country, State Farm is helping to make life safer for children. We're the sole sponsor of the nation's largest child passenger safety study, which found that even though they've outgrown a car seat, kids 40 to 80 pounds still need a car booster seat. Being there to help keep kids safe. That's what we're all about.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't tell anyone I said. Was it a date? The plot thickens. I'm wearing a pink linen jacket and white leather shoes.
Oh no, les jours et les nuits.
Yes, Patrick!
Many moods, many occasions. One line always connects. Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi.
In November 1973, at only 16 years old, Bo left for Greece to film her first movie. It was a small independent feature called Once Upon a Time, directed by former actor John Derek. Bo played a young girl who falls in love for the first time.
Damir, do you want me to fix you your dinner tonight?
You don't have to do that.
Please let me, Damir.
Well, if you want to.
We were out on this beautiful island named Mykonos with the windmills, and it was spectacular. And we were the only foreigners there with just the local fishermen and knitting women, and it was a magical time.
Bo was dazzled by the scenery, but not the work. She found acting tedious, and Bo's obvious lack of interest was not making a good impression on John.
There was a lot of tension. I was never disciplined. I never did all the studying I was supposed to do. He wanted me to learn Shakespeare. Things. And my mind started going someplace else.
He was mean, nasty to her. She just didn't like him. He was just so horrible to her. And, you know, she just wasn't used to anyone treating her like that.
But Bo had found a new ally and friend in John's wife, Linda Evans. Linda sensed Bo's shyness and tried to make her feel more comfortable.
She adored Bo, and she did everything she could to help Bo, you know, with hair, with makeup, with, you know, everything that she knew about filming. And so their relationship in the beginning was very good. In fact, it was them against John, basically.
Bo made an effort to get along with John and work harder. In fact, when Linda returned to the States, the two began to spend more time with each other. Bo's mother, who had also come to Greece, realized something was happening.
I had seen them around town, you know, being, you know, holding each other and stuff.
It was late at night, and he did stop and he kissed me, but that was just something had obviously been building before the kiss.
When I confronted her about it, she said, "Oh, no, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him." And then it got into a rather heated argument, and somehow or other I bloodied her nose, because when she lied to me into my face, I kind of lost it.
So my nose is gushing with blood, and I go running out of the room screaming, and John hears it. He's down the hall in this hotel where we're all living. And it was so funny. All the doors, the crew, they all open the door, see my mother chasing me down the hall, and close the door.
The secret was out, and soon the entire crew knew about the affair. Bo had fallen madly in love with John. She loved to hear him talk about everything, from books to art to politics. At the same time, Bo was feeling guilt for betraying Linda and for disappointing her mother.
It was terrible. I felt awful. And I think that because I had lied to her, that Linda was getting involved, he was married, all of that was just... She was not able to deal with it. She couldn't believe her daughter was doing that. And I don't blame her.
I had just separated from my husband, and then to have her get involved with a married man, and liking Linda very much and respecting her, it was just, the turmoil was just volcanic.
When Linda found out, she told John she was leaving until he could figure out what he wanted. John's response was to invite Bo to come with him to Germany, where the film was being edited. And against her mother's wishes, Bo went.
Yes, I should have run home. It was wrong. The relationship was wrong to begin with, but I just wanted to be with him. That's about all my brain could handle, because I'd never been in love before I was 17 years old.
We didn't really communicate for a long time, even though she always knew that, you know, she could always come home.
When Bo arrived in Germany, her love affair with John began to sour. John told Bo he was still in love with Linda and thought he had made a mistake getting involved with Bo.
He said if I hadn't treated Linda so badly, I'd go back. If she would take me back, I'd go back. And he would say these things to me, so I had no suspicions of what was going on in his head. I knew what was going on in his head. But at the same time, he wanted to be with me too. So it was, but it's a terrible way to start a relationship. It was dark for a long time.
Finally, John decided to send Bo home. She was devastated and assumed everything was over. But when Bo arrived back in Los Angeles, she discovered the rumor mill was just starting.
He was 46, Bo Derek was 16, and a lot of his own friends got on his case. John Wayne, who knew John Derek, called him and said, "Man, what are you doing? You know, this is going to ruin you." And he didn't care.
There was the rumors that this is another Linda lookalike. This is another Ursula look-alike, that John has found his teenage version of these two other women with whom he was extremely smitten.
The controversy went beyond gossip and became more serious. The district attorney's office in Los Angeles had heard about John's affair and threatened to charge him with statutory rape. Whatever Linda's feelings were about Beau, she stepped in to help her husband, and ultimately, the DA didn't pursue charges. But then Linda turned around and asked John for a divorce.
When we started our relationship, it was never supposed to last. Hollywood knew Linda and John to be the great love. They used them as the example of the perfect couple, of two beautiful people in Hollywood being able to really be in love.
As far as anybody knew or felt, I think that, you know, Linda and John were happy. But these are the things that happen. I mean, you go from one relationship to another, in many cases. In some cases with John and others, you know, you fall in love with the same person more than once.
Beau had left John in Germany a few weeks before, but she was still in love with him. And when John called, Beau wasted no time and took the next flight to Germany. Beau and John then rented a station wagon and traveled across Europe together. It was around this time that Beau decided she needed a new name. She was still known as Kathy Collins.
It was cute and it was nice and it was sunny, but I just wanted to be a different person at that time in my life. I don't know how Beau came along. I think someone mentioned it. And it's funny, it's like meeting someone and feeling a chemistry right away. I felt that with the name Beau.
When Beau returned to Los Angeles in 1974 with John, she not only had a new name, but a new look. Gone were the teeny bopper clothes. Beau had a more sophisticated air about her, which many attributed to John.
She came back very European. She would wear scarves around her hair, and she did. She matured greatly.
I think he just changed her life so completely and fulfilled her life so completely. At that age, she really could have gone any direction, anywhere. I think he was a very romantic man.
Beau and John may have been in love, but they were running out of money. They had spent most of it in Europe and now needed to find work. So while John looked for his next project, Beau went on auditions. She soon caught the attention of the legendary director Dino De Laurentiis, who was casting a remake of the movie King Kong. Every actress in Hollywood wanted to play the damsel in distress.
So I went home with the script. I read the script all by myself without John, and it scared me to death. I couldn't see myself reading those words. I was not an actress, had no business doing that part.
Beau may not have wanted Hollywood, but Hollywood wanted her. De Laurentiis convinced Beau to take a small part in his next film, Orca, about a killer whale seeking revenge. Beau played a young deckhand who gets her leg bitten off and dies. It was on their way to film Orca that John and Beau decided to make their relationship official on June 10, 1976. John was 49 years old and Beau was 19.
We went to Las Vegas and got married in the middle of the night with a woman minister with, she had on shaggy slippers and a blue chenille robe and curlers in her hair and a pug dog in her arms that snorted through the whole ceremony. And it was about as meaningful an event as the marriage meant to us, I think.
While Beau's personal life was better than ever, her career seemed to be going nowhere. When Orca was released in 1977, it did respectably at the box office, but didn't turn Beau into a star. King Kong, on the other hand, was a huge hit.
She made disastrous decisions. She should have never turned down King Kong. I mean, that made Jessica Lange a star.
Everyone thought I was crazy, and everyone thought, well, John Derek is going to ruin her career, too. And I didn't have a career, had no ambition to have a career.
It wouldn't be the last time Beau Derek would pass up big roles, but for now, she thought her career was over.
Bio Trivia is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Do you know the answer to tonight's Bio Trivia? What was Beau Derek pitching in her first television commercial? The answer when we return.
Oh, look, it's the guy who falls.
Fall now.
Oh, I don't really do that anymore. It's not like I got that insurance.
What insurance?
Aflac. They pay you cash if you can't work when you get hurt. Not that I ever do. Aisle 5 under lingerie.
Price check!
Aflac. That's about it at work. Aflac.
So, do you know the answer to tonight's bio trivia? Bo Derek was in a television commercial for what product? Derek made her speaking role debut in a television commercial pitching underarm deodorant.
Escalade ESP, the biggest of the breed. Cadillac, breakthrough.
People who love their pets this much don't shop in a supermarket. Supermarkets are for people. Petco is for pets. Petco, where the pets go.
What should we do with her hair today? Root up, down, spike it.
People who love their pets this much deserve to save at Petco. Introducing Royal Canin Mini Dog Food. Now try any small bag free with a mail-in rebate. Petco, where the pets go.
Imagine a remarkable winemaker who taught his grandchildren everything he knew. Now imagine his grandchildren arriving in Sonoma, California's premier wine region, and within 10 years winning Winery of the Year in California, gold in France, gold in Italy, best Cabernet in the world in London. These are the new Sonoma wines of Gina and Matt Gallo. Gallo of Sonoma, new generation, world class.
Find that firearm and we have the murder weapon.
It was the spark.
Bingo, this is the guy.
That lit the way.
This was cold-blooded murder.
From the first forensic series, On the Scene, the original Cold Case Files, tomorrow at 8 on A&E.
In 1979, at 23 years old, Bo Derek was famous for being the new girl, not in Hollywood, but in John Derek's life. If the striking similarities between Bo and John's ex-wives raised some eyebrows, then their ongoing relationship with John really had people scratching their heads. John's ex-wives were still friends with each other and with him, and now they were friendly with Bo as well.
It's quite unique. In other words, I've known a lot of people, particularly in Hollywood and elsewhere, you know, that have been married more than once. It is most unusual to discover that the former wives are really good friends.
They all celebrated his birthday together. I mean, he must have been some kind of guy that he'd collect all the ex-wives and the current wife, who was younger than all of them, and they weren't jealous of her, anything. They just, everybody wanted to please John. He was a very lovable guy.
John may have been lovable to some, but he was considered manipulative by others. Many blamed John for Bo's decision not to do King Kong. When her next big audition came, John encouraged her to go for it. Director Blake Edwards was looking to cast a beautiful woman in his next film, 10, a romantic comedy about a man going through a midlife crisis who fantasizes about the perfect woman.
The word was out that I was looking for a 10. And this particular person came up and said, I know a 10, and I'd been hearing that from just about everybody. I thought, oh, really, that's terrific. But this particular 10 hadn't had any exposure at all. Anyway, she walked in, and that was it. I just took one look, and I was startled at what I was looking at. I talked to her for 5 minutes, and I said, who's your agent? There was a certain beauty to her, a certain attitude that that seemed to just fit the character. And I just kind of knew it.
Blake cast the British actor Dudley Moore to play the leading man, a decision which surprised Bo at first. he didn't seem like leading man material.
He's small and he's far from Sean Connery, in my opinion. So John said this must be another one of Blake's practical jokes, because Blake is famous for his practical jokes, very elaborate ones.
But it was no joke. When Bo finally met Dudley, she was smitten. What concerned her now was what to do with her hair.
I was living in an African-American neighborhood, and I'd seen all these beautifully braided, intricately braided hair. And John had always thought it'd be fun for photos to try that look sometime. So at one point I said, well, maybe that'll be good for the film.
I said, well, what are you going to do if I don't like it? Or what if it doesn't work? You know, because it became perfectly obvious that that wasn't something you did in an hour.
It actually took 10 hours to braid Bo's hair. But when it was finished, Blake loved the look. Soon, he became impressed with Bo's acting as well.
She got it every time. You know, occasionally I would give her a cue or say, listen, you know, do it this way or do it that way. She got it immediately.
In the fall of 1979, 10 opened, and audiences everywhere got their first glimpse of Bo.
And people went, oh! I mean, you could hear this collective gasp go out. And then you could hear people go, who's that? Who's that? Is that Bo Derek? Oh my God.
Bo was in the movie for less than 15 minutes, but her image was cemented in pop culture history. Men dropped their popcorn, and women ran to their hairdressers.
Thousands of women went out to get cornrows. White women too, which was, you know, a very strange thing for white women to do at the time. And it was just a phenomenon, that film. And Bo Derek became like a cultural icon, still is.
The film was a huge hit and went on to gross more than $100 million. There was no question in people's minds that Bo was the main attraction. Soon her poster from 10 was being sold everywhere. Overnight, Bo had become the newest sex symbol.
Bo was the pinup girl, basically, of my generation. I mean, first there was Farrah and the winged photo, and then there was Cheryl Tiegs, and then it was Bo in that tan bathing suit with the braided hair. She was it.
In March 1980, Bo posed for the cover of Playboy and made record sales. For a shy girl, Bo liked to show a lot. Within months, Bo had become an instant celebrity, and paparazzi followed her everywhere.
It was like Hard Day's Night, the film Hard Day's Night, when the Beatles would come around the corner and all these crowds would start running at them. And it was that way for me. All of a sudden, overnight, I would go places and there would be huge crowds, and they'd start chasing me down the street. But unlike the Beatles, they were always laughing and having fun running away from crowds. Me, I'd usually burst into tears, scared to death.
It was Jagunda, as they say. I mean, it was larger than life. This was a buzz that not one woman today has really had. Not Julia, not Reese Witherspoon, none of them.
She was thrown into the ranks of the greatest stars that we ever knew in movies, like Lana Turner, the Ava Gardner, all the great beauties. She suddenly was, Bo Derek, a part of that stratosphere that is very difficult to get to.
In less than 3 years, Bo Derek had become a superstar. She was being offered the lead role in any movie she wanted and commanding more than $5 million per picture, the highest salary ever offered to an actress at that time. Bo had arrived, but she wasn't sure she wanted to stay.
After the break, on the set of Tarzan, Bo Derek gets mauled by a lion.
He bit me here, and he just sliced my shoulder, but he would have taken it off if he'd gotten around.
You promised me you're going to try to stay out of trouble.
promise?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
So am I.
I'm not kidding.
Okay, fine.
All right, fine.
I'm Jill Hennessy. Join me for Crossing Jordan right here on A&E.
Sure, I want strong bones, but I want healthy joints too.
Introducing Oscal Ultra for your bones and joints. Oscal Ultra combines calcium and D with 7 key nutrients known to enhance bone and joint health.
I don't take chances. I take Oscal Ultra.
Soulmates. Buddies. Your better half. You just aren't you without them. Like coffee's not coffee without Coffee Mate. So smooth, so velvety, so much more than just coffee. Coffee made from Nestle. Coffee's perfect made.
This year, explore a place in the heart of America. A place where you can sit outside and look at the stars. Or come inside and do the same. A place where getting high means a roller coaster ride. Or a walk on Ozark Mountaintop. A place of spectacular sights and smiles on faces you love. Where family values and the American spirit endure. It's called Branson, Missouri. And it's for everyone who wants to rediscover America.
Hey, Rick. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, how's your aunt? Oh, she's doing
My friends are always amazed to learn how many of us may need a nursing home or in-home care someday.
And when I ask them how they're going to pay for it,
that's a good question. Do you know something I don't know?
State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company's long-term care insurance can help protect you and your savings from the rising cost of long-term care.
When my aunt wasn't prepared, it was a real wake-up call.
That's why I tell everyone.
Even if you don't get it from me, get it. It's that important.
Talk to your State Farm agent. We live where you live.
In 1935, Foxwood Farm started with one horse and a truck. The horse was a thoroughbred. The truck, a Chevy Suburban. Today, they have a few more horses. But there's still only one truck. Chevy Suburban. With an available 8.1-liter Vortec engine, it's capable of towing up to 6 tons, making it the best Suburban yet. Chevy Suburban, like a rock.
So nice to finally meet you.
You're home. It's so, interesting.
Oh, termites, they hate ice, so we redid the whole house. Frank, this is Kate.
Nice to meet you.
So who's ready for dinner?
Here's a better idea. Call Terminix. More people trust our unlimited lifetime protection plan featuring Centricon. 1-800-TERMINIX. No bugs, no hassles.
How's the soup?
Great.
The 2003 Mercury Sable LS Premium comes with the government's highest double 5-star front crash test rating for great safety, standard power adjustable pedals for great versatility, plus no-charge leather trim seats and anti-lock brakes for great savings, which means it's a great time for a test drive. Get into Sable now with 0% APR financing for 60 months with up to $1,000 down, and we'll match up to $1,000. See your local Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
It's what you want, it's what you need, it's where you wanna go, it's where you wanna be. The club, the bay, and everything.
St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida's beach.
And right now, ATA can get you there for less with everyday low fares and non-stop flights. Call 1-800-I-FLY-ATA or visit ATA.com today.
In 1980, Bo Derek was the hottest actress in Hollywood. She soon followed up on her success in 10 with a more serious role in a film called Change of Seasons, starring Anthony Hopkins and Shirley MacLaine. Bo played a college student who has an affair with her much older professor.
How much did you tell her? Did you list my orgasms?
What? Stop it. Here you are, the top most beautiful woman in the world, the top star of all time at that time. She was lovely. She was so beautiful to work with, and a very nice woman, very easygoing.
Bo was so easygoing that doing nude scenes was not a problem. She felt very comfortable with her body, and it showed.
You may be a full professor with a couple of published books, but we both know who you really are.
Who?
A classic male bully.
With all eyes on Bo, the pressure mounted for her to choose her next picture. But Bo was uncomfortable living in the spotlight and unsure of her next step. So finally, John suggested they work together on a film, a decision that shocked Hollywood.
He was just enormously persuasive. She didn't want to do do it with anybody else, and he talked her into believing anyway that she shouldn't and couldn't. And their lies are terrible, awful reality.
In this 1980 interview with Barbara Walters, Bo explained her decision.
We like working together. We like doing everything together. We like living together. And we will do this film, and I think it'll be fantastic. What do you live on?
The film that John wanted to do was a remake of the 1932 classic Tarzan the Ape Man, with Bo playing Jane. They took the idea to MGM Studios, which immediately agreed to the project.
She was perceived as a red-hot commodity coming off 10. If we wanted Bo Derek to play Jane, that we had John Derek as a director.
To get Bo, you take me. It's a package now. And nobody wants to take me. I'm very argumentative, very hard-nosed, very, very opinionated, and I do my own thing my own way.
And one thing John insisted on was that Bo not only be the star, but the producer as well. MGM executives were horrified. Bo's only experience producing was an adult film she and John had made in 1979 called Love You. And no, Bo didn't star in it.
Every aspect I learned about filmmaking on that little tiny film, and loved it. It was the first time I think I'd studied anything in my whole life.
Now the producer, Bo Derek, met with MGM.
She was extraordinary. She had an absolutely professional grasp of the logistics of producing a film.
The Derricks and a 35-member crew traveled to Sri Lanka for 3 months of filming. The legendary Irish actor, Richard Harris, played Bo's father, and the newcomer, Miles O'Keefe, played Tarzan.
Here, let me show you how to smile. Oh, you think I'm going to hurt you? There's no way I could hurt you. Come on.
Bo loved filming in the jungle, but it could be dangerous. When she was filming a scene with a trained lion, things got out of control.
John was shooting with such a long lens that he was half a mile down the beach, and Tarzan had his back to the lion, so when the lion got loose and was coming at me, I knew he was coming at me. There's a look in his eye that was different than he'd ever had before. He bit me here, and I was going downhill, so he just sliced my shoulder, but he would have taken it off if he'd gotten around.
Bo survived the attack with only cuts and bruises, but when the film was released in 1981, Bo faced another attack, this time by the critics.
Tarzan was as bad as people say. It was awful. It was, even John Derek said in a Playboy interview that all she did was sort of like just, stick her finger in her mouth for like 90 minutes and had no range, had no emotion.
The critics may have poked fun at Bo's acting, but the Derricks had the last laugh. The movie grossed more than $50 million. With their new success, John and Bo were now able to pursue their dreams. Earlier that year, they had decided to escape Hollywood and bought a 46-acre ranch just north of Santa Barbara. It was everything Bo had always wanted.
The ranch was a combination of getting away from Hollywood, living my little girl dream of having horses, and I really took to it. It wasn't just a weekend place. I loved it.
But living on a secluded hilltop didn't make Bo less visible. In September 1981, Bo posed again for Playboy and made record sales. It seemed the public couldn't get enough of Bo Derek.
John Derek knew very well that the key to Bo Derek's success, and really his own success, was showing and exhibiting as much of Bo Derek's sexuality and sensuality as much as possible.
It seemed to be a winning formula, so in 1983, the Derricks made their next film, Bolero, about a young woman who goes to Spain to lose her virginity.
I just wanted to say I've never seen anything so beautiful.
Nor have I.
As usual, there was plenty of nudity, including one explicit love scene, which almost earned the movie an X rating.
I think this seems like a perfect time to tell you that I love you.
She was so willing to expose her body on screen. Almost in every picture, there was always a scene in which Bo was nude. And I think that was it. Why are they doing that? What was the purpose for that scene? Why did she have to be undressed?
This time, not only the critics were turned off, but the public as well. Bolero was a box office disappointment, and the backlash became personal. Bo was labeled a bimbo who was being exploited by her Svengali-like husband.
John Derek was the epitome of the Svengali. I mean, he named his production company Svengali Films. I mean, it was a sort of joke and a sort of snub at the industry and the people that thought that he was a Svengali. But let's face it, this is a guy that had absolute control over his wife as a woman, as an actress, you know, as a spouse, everything.
So much of the criticism was not about our work, it was personal, and they didn't know us, so that part gets frustrating. So it was hard to get me off the mountain to go to work. I just didn't feel like it most of the time.
All the negative publicity took its toll on the Derricks, and many studios refused to work with them because they were perceived as too controversial. So John and Bo retreated to their ranch and focused on their personal life.
We weren't making very good films, John and I. That didn't work very well. And I was loving my life at the ranch so much. And all of a sudden I turned around and most of a decade had gone by and I hadn't worked. And I really didn't realize that it had been that long.
It almost seemed that Bo had disappeared from Hollywood. Then in 1995, she got a small part in the hit comedy Tommy Boy, starring Brian Dennehy and Chris Farley.
For Tommy Boy, we wanted Chris Farley's mom to be a 10. And so we thought, well, why not get the 10? And it was literally that simple.
Bo played a foxy stepmother and won rave reviews. In one of the film's most memorable moments, Bo spoofs her famous scene from 10.
Is that for me? No, son, that's for me. Oh, man. Dad, she's like a 10.
Hi, honey.
She got better reviews than our movie did, you know, at first. You know, Tommy Boy was one of those acquired tastes.
She was lovely, she was charming, she was funny, you know? I mean, it proved what she was capable of with the right handling. It reestablished her as an actress with some kind of credibility.
Bo was back, but this time, John was just a bystander.
Did Bo Derek ever influence your sense of style? Visit Biography.com and tell us what you think.
An A&E special presentation. Her disappearance stopped us in our tracks. Her return made us believe in miracles.
I am the luckiest mother in the world.
A&E retraces the Elizabeth Smart kidnapping, a story of spirit, strength, and survival. Elizabeth Smart, The Long Way Home. Tomorrow at 10 on A&E.
Okay, you've got over 130 channels here. There's your local channels, and it's only $39.99 a month. So, as I was saying, oh, hi.
Switch now and get over 130 channels for just $39.99 a month. Call 1-800-DIRECTV today.
Has anybody checked the interior?
Some of the finest leather I've ever seen.
Premium leather?
Rear seat DVD entertainment system.
Entertainment system?
And navigation.
Power rear door.
11-speaker Mark Levinson audio.
Mark Levinson audio.
It's a camera. It's a rear view camera.
Introducing the entirely new Lexus RX 313. Putting the world on notice again.
Listen, you can't even hear it. What? The XLI. You have a trained XLI cooling system? Of course it's quiet. It's those galvanized steel louvers. Oh, how rugged. Tell me about it. Climate tough compressor, patented spine fin coil. It might outlast Evelyn's third marriage. What? Oh, next we buy you a baby carriage.
must be some air conditioner. The Train XLI. It's hard to stop a train.
Today, we showed this grandfather how he could count on long-term care insurance to be there for him. If he ever needs it.
My baby don't care for.
In 1998, Bo Derek's career was back on track. Following the success of Tommy Boy, Bo was offered a starring role in a new TV series called Wind on Water. The drama was set in Hawaii, with Bo playing the mother of 2 teenage boys.
Your father and I made a pact long ago to keep this land and work it. It was our dream. You follow your dreams wherever they may take you.
Bo loved the part, but John was horrified.
He didn't want me to do that series, not for a second. Thought it was a big mistake. He just always saw me as that young, exciting girl. And I went over there and had a great time. I loved it.
But on May 21st, 1998, Bo's life was suddenly shattered. While in Los Angeles to promote her new series, she received an urgent message. John had suffered a massive heart attack.
I pretty much knew from the first couple calls, speaking to the doctors, that it was going to be fatal. And the frustrating part is that I couldn't be there. I had to drive 2 hours to get to where he was.
By the time Bo arrived, John was unconscious. He died on May 22nd, 1998, at the age of 71.
I knew I would lose him, most likely. But it's just strange. I had shared all my thoughts, all my life, all my experiences with that, all my adult life with him.
She walked around, I would have to say, in a daze. I mean, she was there, but she wasn't there. It took her 2 years before she really could feel the grief that she felt.
I don't think she really ever dealt with death, with the exception of her animals. So something that big, I think, was just, it was numbing. There wasn't anything. There wasn't a really emotion. It was just like a hum.
Shortly after John's death, Bo returned to work, but her show was canceled after only 2 episodes, and that only added to money problems she was suffering. Her life with John may have seemed glamorous, but they rarely saved any money. Now Bo decided she had no choice but to sell her beloved ranch.
And a lot of people were really concerned for me that selling the ranch was going to be difficult because I had such great memories there. But they're here. They're not, those memories aren't attached to the place, to the ground. So it wasn't really that difficult for me. But you just have to pick yourself up and go on.
And Bo did. She moved into a smaller ranch and started looking for acting jobs. This time around, Bo had to settle for starring in B-rated movies, including the forgettable Murder at the Cannes Film Festival and the teen flick Horror 101, in which she played a professor who kills her students. Bo knew these performances wouldn't win her an Academy Award, but she received better reviews for her guest appearances on TV sitcoms, including 2 Guys and a Girl and The Drew Carey Show.
Oh, by the way, I love you.
Oh, Lois, you don't even know me. You're infatuated with my public image.
I think she'd like to prove herself. I really, really do. I think even if it's just one more good movie that she's given an opportunity to be in, or even a television series.
But Bo Derek's next big role really surprised her fans. In July 2000, she spoke at the Republican National Convention.
Bo Derek!
America's Hispanic community is a shining example of immigrant families breathing strength into America.
She spoke in a very humble, modest way.
She helped introduce one of the major speakers, an assemblyman from California. She did a very nice job at it, and it was very, very well received by the crowd.
My representative, Assemblyman Abel Maldonado.
Bo then hit the campaign trail for then-Governor George Bush. Despite her risque roles, Bo has long been a conservative, at least politically.
Most celebrities, when they get associated with campaigns, they don't typically care about the issues. She was interested, she cared, she was clearly passionate about a lot of the issues in the campaign.
After the election, Bo focused inward. In February 2002, she wrote her autobiography called Riding Lessons, a tribute to her lifelong passion for horses. Bo also started dating again and has been linked with the younger actor John Corbett.
I think she's happier now than she's ever been. I think she knows more about who Bo Derek is than she has ever known before.
Come on, Highway, let's go.
And Bo Derek knows that things will never come as easily to her as they did before 10. But she is determined to show she's more than just a lucky number.
She is a sex star who defined her particular era, and in that sense, very clearly, she is and will continue to be an icon in that time frame.
She's reached a status that can almost be compared to Marilyn Monroe. There was something about Marilyn, as there is something about Bo, that makes her larger than life.
After years of caring for animals, Bo Derek has put her knowledge to use and founded Bless the Beasts, a line of shampoos and fragrances for dogs. When not working on her business, Derek still finds time to make movies. She's currently appearing in the comedy Malibu's Most Wanted. Sunday on Biography, Shirley Jones, the Oscar-winning actress who urged a generation of TV viewers to get happy. That's Shirley Jones, Sunday.
A&E Home Video proudly presents this episode of Biography on VHS for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. To order, call 1-800-423-1212 or shop online at aetv.com.
It's awful when you get gas, pressure, and bloating. Don't play games. Zap all three with the Big Z. Phazine. For fast relief, don't stop at X. Go straight to the Big Z. Phazine.
Hi! Come on in! Kinda breezy in here! With 80-mile-per-hour winds! Ants and spiders can't grab hold of a surface! What? No bugs! Meet my husband, Stanley! What? Stanley!
Here's a better idea. Call Terminex. More people trust us to solve their pest problems. 1-800-Terminex. No bugs, no hassles.
Perfect accessory for your right foot. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
Your pet's same exact heartworm and flea medications delivered to your home, saving you time and money. 1-800-PET-MEDS. We deliver savings and convenience on HeartGuard, Advantage, Frontline, and all other pet medications. Order now and receive.
Need it. This one's good. This one's good.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds real good.
Comcast Digital Cable.
Enjoy.
Call now and upgrade to Comcast Digital Plus with up to 45 channels of music choice for $14.99 per month.
Hey, you gotta have this one.
Now this could change everything. Comcast.
For children,
and the parents who worry about them. Central DuPage Hospital. Care that's centered around your children and centered around you.
I'm growing up wanting to be a model.
We don't like to be cruel, it's just the reality.
I've lost 25 pounds in the last 6 months.
I'm nothing right now. What's the worst that could happen?
A&E zooms in on the good, the bad, and the ugly in Models, The Real Skinny. Premiering next, only on A&E.
Mother to Las Vegas, where the actress often performed. One night, an agent friend of Anne Margaret's approached Beau backstage.
He was just bowled over by her and wanted to sign her that night. You got to be in pictures. You got to be in pictures.
So sure, why not? If he thinks I should do it, I didn't think I should, but he thought I should, and he knows more than I do, so sure.
Beau had never thought about acting. Growing up, she'd wanted to be an oceanographer. Now, Beau enrolled in acting classes, and within a few months, her agent took her to meet a famous director just casting a new picture. His name was John Derek. Beau had no idea who he was, but her mother did.
Whoa, he's hung. And, you know, I can remember him, you know, being very enthralled with him as a teenager.
John Derek was a former actor who starred in I'll Be Seeing You with Shirley Temple and 1949's Knock on Any Door with Humphrey Bogart, in which John played a young hoodlum. John's good looks turned him into a matinee screen idol.
I swear it by my mother. May she drop dead. May I drop dead if the cops ain't framed me. Look up Butch and Sunshine. Ask him. I was with him the whole time.
I think he suffered to some degree with the same kind of syndrome that is connected to, you know, a very attractive woman, not taken too seriously in other kinds of areas. He had other things on his mind. He wanted to write, he wanted to be a photographer, he wanted to direct.
In the 1960s, John went on to direct a few B movies, but he was less famous for directing than for marrying beautiful women.
Boulevard in about 4:30 in the afternoon, high traffic, and all I saw were all the cars. She was just gone, and it's a 2-lane, I mean 4-lane actually, road with, you know, train tracks and cars going everywhere. I fainted and ended up under the bumper of the car with the wheel right here on my face, and it was strange because my instinct was just to get up, see if I'm okay, and I was all right. My brother and my sisters are screaming and crying and wailing. They thought I was dead.
Fortunately, Beau was okay, and the accident didn't stop her from falling in love with horses. But she was not so fond of school. She was an average student who hated studying. Beau preferred to spend her days at the beach.
If she got dropped off to school, I could drive to go get her and then bring her back to school before her mom picked her up. We'd go to the beach and she taught me how to sail. And we body surfed a lot.
I skipped school for a whole month and finally got caught. My mother was furious.
If Beau wasn't interested in academics, she was fascinated with Hollywood. In 1963, Beau's father supplied motorcycles on the set of Anne Margaret's film Bye Bye Birdie and taught the actress how to ride. Beau's parents soon became friends with Anne Margaret and were spending weekends with the actress. Beau was starstruck.
Well, Anne Margaret was just the most beautiful, glamorous, fantastic, with that soft, husky voice. She was just everything that I thought was special and magical.
What I remember about Kathy, Kathy, she was really quiet when she didn't know people.
It's the people you thought you knew.
She is a sex star who defined her particular era.
Like you've never seen them before. The beauty.
She was magnificent looking.
The controversies.
He was 46. Beau Derek was 16.
The braids.
Thousands of women went out to get cornrows.
Beau Derek, next on Biography.
Life has always seemed to come easily to Beau Derek. But all that changed in 1998 when her husband and mentor of 25 years, director John Derek, died suddenly. For the first time in her life, she was alone. Beau retreated to her ranch and her horses, the other greatest love of her life. Bo Derek was born Mary Kathleen Collins on November 20th, 1956. She grew up the oldest of 4 children in the Los Angeles suburb of Torrance, California, a nondescript concrete jungle of baby boomer dream houses.
All the houses had kids, and all the kids played with all the kids, and it was like little rascals going up and down the street. And, you know, there were always mothers and fathers and everybody around.
Bo's father, Paul, was a Korean War veteran and an advertising executive for a sports company. Her mother, Norma, a former dance teacher, was a housewife. Although the Collinses lived a comfortable middle-class existence, their life was anything but conventional.
Paul and I had a great time for about a year.
Oh, she was magnificent looking, but she never knew it, which is so wonderful.
We would just go up to Aunt Margaret's house, and it was all pink marble and pink carpet and fancy clothes and makeup and wigs, and Aunt Margaret would do makeovers for us, which, you know, at 9 and 10 years old was just fantastic.
Bo's time with Aunt Margaret began to have an effect on her. She blossomed from a gawky tomboy into an athletic beauty. At 13, she began modeling and eventually won the Miss Teen California beauty pageant. It was around this time that things turned bad at home. Bo's father was traveling a lot for work, and the family rarely saw him. Then one night when Bo was 15, he came home and announced that he was leaving. Her father had fallen in love with another woman. Her mother was devastated, and now Bo had to grow up fast.
She took charge. She took, charge. She was the one that told the children. She was the other kids. She was the one that kept everybody quiet and leave mother alone, don't bother, and took control of things. And I am still very appreciative for the things that she did then.
I was aware that my mother was very unhappy in the marriage. I didn't know the details, but I saw how unhappy she was. And when my father left, something in me sensed that it would be all right and that she would be happier, even though she was miserable.
To get back on her feet, Bo's mother took a job as Aunt Margaret's assistant. Soon Bo was traveling with her.
And then we decided that we weren't having that much fun anymore, so we got a divorce.
My father's priority beyond anything else was fun. My mom was good. She was good for a good time and would go along, but there were practical things that had to be tended to that my father really had no patience for.
Norma, though, couldn't resist Paul's charms, and they eventually reunited. Bo's parents were together for almost 20 years, but never remarried.
Even when I got pregnant with Bo, it kind of crossed our mind, but it was, at that point, we had already been together so long that, for 3 or 4 years, that it just didn't seem necessary. Everybody thought we were anyway, so why,
While the Collins family settled into their new home, Bo and her 2 sisters and brother soon dominated the neighborhood, riding their bikes and causing quite a ruckus. Bo was shy as a child, but a real tomboy. She stood out from her friends with her stunning looks and strong personality.
She was always a very pretty girl. She wasn't precocious. She was always very self-determined. She always had the kids behind her because she knew what she wanted to do.
I was bossy, but worse than that, I was manipulative. I could talk them into almost anything. I could convince them for taking the blame and getting in trouble and taking the punishment for me. I was just shameless.
And fearless. One day when she was riding a friend's pony, Bo got a little cocky and kicked the horse harder than usual.
And he took off running, and he was coming straight forward. He went over a berm where there were some railroad tracks onto Normandy Boulevard, which is 4-lane.